Okay, these videos have been on the ostensible title of Overcoming Rudolf Steiner. Okay? Now, I'm not saying throw out what he taught. I am saying, take some of the things he said with a grain of salt. Treating him perfect is just, oh God, it's obnoxious. And I'm going to do a thing, following this up, I'm going to do a thing on the News for Members that just came out that's calling itself Being Human, which is kind of a funny thing all in itself. But I want to make certain things clear right now. I'm trying to give an example of overcoming Rudolf Steiner, which is thinking for myself, thinking free. And in my writing you'll find discussions about how you learn to be able to do this. What you have to do inside your own soul to really think free of even the great teachings of Rudolf Steiner, who certainly is an individual well worth paying attention to. Except not to the extent that one submits or surrenders one's own thinking to what Rudolf Steiner said. And of course that's what lives in the Anthroposophical Society today. I call it Steinerism. It's not anthroposophy. It's a belief in an elevation of Steiner thought over and above what other human beings think. And even in the places where it seems to be, very carefully enunciated, in the sense of people doing all this great stuff in Goethean science and in the curative work and in the medical stuff and all the rest of this, every time you turn around, they're referring to Rudolf Steiner. It's thinking that's derivative from one man's genius. And if you read Emerson, he says, just about as clearly as it's possible to say, hello, let's not do that. Let's not do this thinking that's derivative. You have to think out of yourself. You have to bring your own genius to bear. So that's what I mean by overcoming Rudolf Steiner as part of real anthroposophy. And at the same time, given that most of the people that subscribe to this weird bunch of videos that I do are interested in the magical stuff anyway, all these people have gone to my I'm Becoming a Wizard thing, which was sort of predictable in a way because you got all these people raised on Harry Potter, and they think that wizards are whatever they think wizards are. But the fact is, of course, that wizards aren't what we think wizards are. Wizards aren't. Rudolf Steiner certainly did it. Do it. I mean, there are people that talk about anthroposophy as human wisdom. Well, yeah. But is it wise to submit and surrender one's own thinking to Rudolf Steiner? I don't think so. Let me read this thing from Emerson that's on my bookstore. This is from Emerson's lecture at Harvard in 1837 called The American Scholar. Books are the best of things well used, abused among the worst. What is their right use? What is the one end which all means go to effect? They are for nothing but to inspire. I had better never see a book than to be warped by its attraction clean out of my own orbit, and made a satellite instead of a system. The one thing in the world of value is the active soul. This every man is entitled to, this every man contains within him, although almost in all men obstructed and as yet unborn. The soul active sees absolute truth and utters truth or creates. In this action it is genius, not the privilege of here and there a favorite, but the sound estate of every man. In its essence, it is progressive. The book, the college, the school of art, the institution of any kind stop with some past utterance of genius. This is good, say they. Let us hold by this. They pin me down. They look backward and not forward. But genius looks forward. The eyes of men are set in his forehead, not his hindhead. Man hopes. Genius creates. Whatever talents may be, if a man creates not, the pure efflux of the deity is not his. Cinders and smoke there may be, but not yet flame. There are creative manners, there are creative actions, and creative words, manners, actions, words, that is, indicative of no custom or authority, but springing spontaneous from the mind's own sense of good and fair. In this sense that Emerson has just given us, the Anthroposophical Society could not be in more trouble given its worship of things that Rudolf Steiner said. The perpetuation of things that Rudolf Steiner said as the holy grail of all thought ruins the potential of any human being that submits or surrenders to it. All of our work as a society, as the Anthroposophical Society, should be directed to one goal, and that is helping each individual member achieve the metamorphosis of thinking that Steiner discovered, modeled, and discussed in GA 2, 3, and 4. I used to think these were the first 3 books and then later found out I was stupid. In a certain sense. But the truth remains. Freedom of thought of the individual is the most profound creative aspect in creation. The spiritual world actually looks to us to make the next thing. And part of what I've done in my effort to overcome Rudolf Steiner is to say back to the spiritual world, look, we're in a lot of shit down here. Get off the fence. Participate. Give us one day, one tiny little miracle. Right directed at the heart of what goes on in America. At the stupidity of the political and the media and the wealthy classes who shit on everybody else and take more than they need. Do you get my curmudgeonly point yet? Welcome to my world.